And welcome to the Invention Licensing Show. I'm your host, David Fedewa, and I'm here to help you license your product. Today, we're gonna go over the one thing you should do before you start calling companies. So to jump right into it, I'm not gonna drag this one out. It's practice, practice, practice. And I even still do this today. I don't usually do it on my first calls, but I do it on my negotiation calls. And what I mean by this, so when I got started in this business, I'm like everybody, right? I didn't have any pre-existing knowledge. I was a dishwasher, waited tables at restaurants. And so I didn't have this big, bank of experience of doing anything. And so one of the things I did do is when I wanted to call companies, right? It was like getting up the nerve. And it took me a couple months to actually get up the nerve to start doing this. And to tell you how nervous I was when I got started, I called the company, right? I built up all this emotional excitement and all right, I can do this, I can do this. Finally made the call and somebody picked up and I hung up. I got so nervous. I heard somebody say, XYZ company, whatever the company's name was, XYZ company. I was like, I hung up. So know that it's okay to be nervous, right? You're doing something important. You're doing something that you're excited about. And so nerves is a normal thing. If you didn't care about your invention, if you didn't care about bringing it to market, if you didn't care about being successful in it, then you wouldn't have any nerves, right? You didn't care, so what, I'll call companies. But you care. You want your product to come to market. And so being nervous is okay. It's actually a good sign. And so after that, I was like, God, I gotta figure out how to do this. And so I started, playing it through in my mind. On my way to work, on my way back from work, in the shower, whenever I'd play through these conversations in my head. And so I'd, do all these scenarios. And I was way over preparing, over analyzing all this. And so then I ended up calling companies. And when I started calling companies, I played through it so many times in my head that when I started actually saying it out loud, it sounded so strange because it was the first time it actually came out of my mouth. And that's where the lesson is. So the lesson is, when you're practicing, practice out loud. So what I do now is I actually take my phone and I put it to the side of my face like I'm having a conversation with somebody, and I walk through the conversation. I say, hey, my name is David Fedewa, I'm a product developer. I'm calling to see if you look at new products. And so when I'm on the call with the actual individual, it's something that I've said before. It's not something that's brand new coming out of my mouth. So when I say it, it comes out with confidence and excitement because I'm not necessarily stumbling over my words, because I've been there, I've done that, I've already said these things. And so that's what my recommendation to you is. Before you start calling companies, practice calling companies. Put your phone to the side of your face. Tell your significant other, whoever it is, hey, I might sound crazy, but I'm not talking to myself, I'm practicing. And that was one of the things I always told my wife was, hey, I'm just practicing. So if you hear me talking to myself, I'm not actually talking to myself, I'm practicing. And so she knows when she hears me talking to myself, I'm practicing out my lines of what I want to happen and how I want the conversations to go. They don't always go that way, but I'm prepared. And so now, a lot of times when I get into negotiation is when I practice my lines. I've gotten comfortable enough on initial calls because I've practiced, but then I've also been in the real game enough to be in a situation emotionally and confident enough to just pick up the phone and dial a company and start a conversation. With negotiation, I do practice it out loud because I want the words to come across confidently. A very specific example of this was I was in a negotiation with a company and they were offering me 5% and I wanted a 7% royalty. And so I did the same thing. I don't know why I didn't, but I ran it through in my mind 100 times, maybe 1,000 times on the way to work, on the way back, in the shower, everywhere I was. I ran through this conversation of how I wanted the negotiation to go. And it kept going through my head. And then when I actually got in the moment, I'm sitting there, and as I'm saying the words out loud, can I get a 7% royalty? It sounded so different coming out of my mouth than it was in my head that I didn't deliver with confidence. So right away, they just came back and said, we'd rather stick with 5%. And that was at the end of the negotiation. And now I deliver with much more confidence. And so I, most of the time, get what I'm looking for in negotiation because I deliver with confidence. It's something that comes out of me as this is something that this person really wants. It's something they're delivering to us and they want to partner with me. So instead of a very passive, kind of like unconfident or not confident way to ask for things, if you have it practiced and you're ready to deliver and you've said it out loud, then you come across as that confident inventor that is willing and ready to put a deal together. And so that's my big recommendation throughout this whole process. Practice out loud, practice with yourself. And that will give you not only confidence, but you'll be able to hear the words coming out of your mouth. And when you've heard the words coming out of your mouth 100 times, then it's just like second nature when you're on the phone with a potential licensee. You get to say, you know, hey, my name is David Fedewa, I'm a product developer. I'm calling to see if you look at new products. Well, that just rolls right off the tongue because I've said it 100 times. And they pick up and they say, yep, you know, here they are. But if you come across as the inventor that's practiced 1,000 times in their head, but they've never said the words out loud, there's a big difference between those type of inventors. So to help you get in the door, to help you speak to the right potential licensees, that's how we need to handle it. So do practice out loud. It will help you get indoors and it will help you close better deals. I hope you loved that episode of License Your Invention. If you're looking for coaching or help getting your product licensed, check out inventtribe.com. We have more information about how we can help you get your product licensed. And for the next episode, we're going to talk about seasonal products, the pluses and minuses, and what to do with your seasonal product ideas.